Coming to you live from the kitchen. This is the All In podcast, and today we're going to be talking about how to win well and how to lose well. What that means, what that means for us as men.
Bada bing, bada boom. Bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom.
Jose, I think you got a little something prepared for us. Maybe a Mount Rushmore over there.
Mount Rushmore, if you will, right? The 4 people that I think are ultra competitive and do it well. So you might say 4 saints. I think on the left I got John the Apostle.
John.
Just my buddy John.
He's so competitive,
First
and
name
wins
basis.
so well that he's like Beyonce, no last name. And I think he's so competitive that he included that he beat Peter in a race, in a foot race. These are what? How old were they? 15, 16, 17 at the time?
John what?
Wearing dresses.
Wearing dress. It doesn't matter what they were wearing. It's just he's so competitive that he put it in a book that he might have not known was going to be the most published book of all time.
Yeah.
But he put it in a book because he wanted everyone to know that he was winning.
He's got speed.
This race.
I wasn't
That he's
Pope,
quick.
but I was fast.
That was quick. Yeah, might have not been Pope, exactly. My second saint, and this one is not confirmed by the Catholic Church or by anyone, is Kobe Bryant, a faithful Catholic who died.
Did we know he was Catholic?
He
Went to mass?
I don't know about his early life, but I know after he retired, he was going to daily mass.
Well, he supposedly went to mass
Before
the
getting
day
in the helicopter.
he died. Yeah.
I heard it was a priest who gave him the nickname Mamba.
Really?
No. He was going to confession. He's
But
like, you
I mean,
little
that
Mamba.
guy is the definition of competitive.
Yes.
And especially late in his career was a great winner and a great loser.
Did you like 24 or 8 for Kobe?
Great question.
I think the 8, like the single digit.
On the
is
court,
just-
8. Off the court, 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the story? Because LeBron based 23 off Kobe. Did he base it off Jordan?
Well, I thought Kobe based 24 off Jordan.
I think Kobe
yeah, that's right.
based it
That's
off
right. Because he
Jordan.
wanted to be. He wanted to
be
one
one
up.
better.
Yeah.
Talk about competition.
Yeah, this guy is the most competitive person of all time.
Right.
Third, we got one of my favorite saints that I just discovered recently, Saint Gabriel Lalemant, one of the North American martyrs.
Yeah.
He was known his whole life for being extremely weak. And
That
in
makes
fact,
2 of us.
Yeah. he I think he was denied from joining the Jesuits for a bit, eventually finally makes it, and he really wanted to go over to North America because he's hearing what's going on over there.
The hamburgers and French fries.
The Whataburger, the McDonald's. And after finally allowed into the Jesuits, then he has to work a couple more times to finally get sent on mission because they're like, you can't handle it. You're too weak. He gets to North America, and he's next to St. John the Brebeuf, who is just insane. Like,
I mean, what a name, first
He
of
was
all.
jacked.
the name is amazing, but there's so many like records, I guess, of either people in that community or from the Native Americans that would talk about how tall, strong, probably handsome St. John the Brebeuf was, and they would talk about how weak St. Gabriel was and how small and fragile he was.
The dude was jacked, and then there was Gabe next to him.
Yeah, just kind of like you and me standing next to each other, right? But then later on, I'll keep this short. Whenever the Native Americans captured both of them at the same time, and they thought St. John the Brebeuf was going to pose the biggest challenge to get him to apostatize.
Yep.
And so they went after him first. And you can read Saints of American Wilderness, his book that I read on them before visiting the shrine. It's a great book that I would strongly recommend if you're trying to learn more about these amazing saints. They torture St. John the Brebeuf in ways that you couldn't even imagine.
Horribly.
Just like awful. And I can't remember. I want to say he went on for like 20 hours.
Yeah.
Like all the Native Americans were mind blown that he survived that long.
Well, then they ate his heart.
They ate his heart. Yeah, exactly.
Because
they wanted
of the
to
courage
take his
he had.
courage. Yeah.
The original Liver King.
Indiana Jones was based after this. When they take the heart out, you know?
Yeah.
You know, And so when they got to Gabriel, they were like, this is going to be easy. Like, we just did the hard work, right? This is going to take maybe 30 minutes. They tortured my guy, Gabe, for 40 hours.
My dude.
Wow.
40 hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talk about just
Throw him up there.
You think
a
he's
guy that
Rushmore.
competes well.
You think he's talking smack in heaven to Brebuff? Like, I 2 times you, man.
I mean, listen, if it was you and I, we would for sure be doing that.
And
Yeah.
we're going to talk smack, not to each other, but we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Is it appropriate? But we'll circle back. Mount Rushmore finishes
And then
out.
my last very competitive Saint, I got the 2009 New Orleans Saints. I mean, they won a Super Bowl. Like, how much more competitive?
5'9"
mountain.
quarterback. He's
a
the
huge
Gabriel
mountain.
Lalemant of
Drew
quarterbacks.
Brees? Come on.
And then I got the losers.
Okay.
So
you got
it's not
a
the Mount Rushmore. It's like the plateau.
The Valley Rushmore.
The Valley Rushmore.
What do you got?
Here's who I got. We're starting off hot with the Malice at the Palace. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's not the Crusades. It's Ron Artest in the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers.
You got to YouTube that.
So if you haven't seen, there's a great Netflix documentary on it. There's a 30 for 32.
Yeah.
But if you're not familiar, Ron Artest goes into the stands. Meta World Peace goes into the stands and starts fighting fans because he was so upset that not only were they losing and getting beat by the second round of the Bad Boy Pistons, but they were talking smack to him.
Yeah.
And the fans were. And he gets in there, and you see these videos of just women and children crying and running out. So
Not the children.
He is.
Did he go in before or after the beer bottle was thrown? Because they were
We
throwing.
have to check the film. Can we get that thrown up? Can we get that on the audio? No, I don't know.
Instant replay.
I don't know. But he's my first. That's a clear choice.
Yep.
He's in the Valley.
Yeah.
Next one in the Valley for me is got to be, it's spicy. It's a spicy take, but Pete Rose.
Oh.
So now Hall of Famer, Philadelphia Phillies, got like 4,000 hits in the MLB, but he was a cheater. And so he's betting, he was betting on himself, which now in the world of sports betting, that opens up a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Imagine if Pete Rose had DraftKings.
Oh, God.
I mean, the
Well,
instant
FanDuel-
bonus.
You had to have a bookie back then, right? You couldn't do it online, I guess.
Oh, he had plenty of bookies. But to cheat to win, right? That's the worst type of. I would say the worst type of loser.
Yeah.
Is someone that actually wins, but cheats to get
cheats.
there. Next up, not a spicy take. I think we can all agree. Judas.
Sore loser.
Judas, he was on the starting lineup of the
Yeah.
original 12. He was kind of a role player, really a utility guy, kind of a jack of all trades, managed the budget, didn't do it well.
Yeah.
But poor loser, right? Because he messes up, and we all recognize what that's like. But not only messes up, but denies our Lord and then passes him over.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he's in the Valley both literally and figuratively because he ends up taking his own life. And so he can't live with the reality that he messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 4 to close is a recent one. If you've seen Full Swing, you guys watched Full Swing? All
Love
3.
Full
Yeah,
Swing.
it's great. It's great. I love it because it goes into these guys' lives and it makes you really understand them. We could go on about Brooks Koepka and just how much he sucks as a person.
I don't know.
He's not my fourth. My fourth is Wyndham Clark.
Okay.
So if you haven't seen the highlights, misses the cut at the U.S. Open this past year.
Oh, yeah.
Difficult course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oakmont.
when the winner's one under par,
The only one.
Yeah.
the
under
only
par.
person under
Making
par
a
wins.
64-foot putt on the last
Right.
hole.
And that was what made him. I mean, difficult course.
Yeah.
Everyone's struggling.
Yep.
Many people are missing the cut, and he goes into the locker room and just doesn't ground stop the like button. He absolutely destroys the locker.
Yeah.
And just the reality of can you lose with your health held high?
Embarrassing.
Oh, totally. Well, especially when there's
Cameras
video
are
cameras.
on you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In such a historic course, too. You know, they've hosted the most U.S. Opens.
Yep.
What's it called?
Oakmont Country
Oakmont.
Club.
You know what's funny about that is the fact that it's in Pittsburgh. Like that is the
modern
only
day Nazareth.
beautiful thing in Pittsburgh is that golf. I was watching it and they're like, and here we are in Pittsburgh. This is not Pittsburgh.
It's funny because they spent, I don't know if they spent a lot of the broadcast, but when I was looking up news articles afterwards, half of them were talking about how ugly Oakmont is on TV. And
I thought it was pretty.
well, so that
Not
the
too many
course was
trees.
made on farmland. It was very open, and then they
Put the highway
in like
in.
the 50s they decided to add a lot of trees, and it ended up being too many trees.
Right.
So if you look at like
Is that why
highlights-
it's so difficult?
Well, no,
Okay.
no. But if you look at highlights from like I think they hosted the U.S. Open in the late '90s.
Yep.
And there's a picture of Tiger teeing off, and there's a ton of trees. It looks like a completely different place.
Yeah,
Really?
because there's no trees now.
Yeah, because now that they took down all the trees, because they wanted to make it more like the original.
Oh,
They
I thought it
like
was
brought back the
The
bunkers.
Pittsburgh
the
economy
green.
was struggling, and they needed to
They need to
get
bring
the
down the trees.
sawmill back up and running.
I think they're more for steel in that town. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is John Michael Lucido, and I am the main host of the All In podcast brought to you by Focus. And I just want to take a second to personally invite you to join us at Seek 26. Seek 26, January the 1st through January 5th. We are going to be in 3 locations. That's how big Seek has gotten. I'm going to be the main stage MC hosting our conference in Columbus, Ohio. Our other main host of the podcast, Jose and Clayton, will be down in Fort Worth, Texas, and then we'll have our 3rd location in Denver, Colorado, January the 1st through January 5th. You are not going to want to miss this. The link to register is in the description. Can't wait to see you guys. Let's go all in on Seek 26.
So we're talking about bad losers here. The worst loser I know is sitting at this table, actually.
Get out of here.
And he was a basketball protege, as we all know.
Yeah.
And that's Clayton Caldwell here. So Clayton, me and you go way back.
7th grade.
7th grade, and we actually
Hated
have
you.
we've competed against each other in a lot of things.
Yep.
Spike ball, who can have the most kids quick enough. We're tied right now, just for clarity. But we know each other well, and I'm wondering if you could let our listeners into your poor sportsmanship.
I don't think it was necessarily poor sportsmanship on my part. It was your flop that got me kicked out of the game. So I was the
Flop
this is
king.
still
Oh, yeah.
I was the sharpshooter for Division II Carolina Blue Bearcats
Yep.
in Dallas, Texas, in the Dallas Parochial League, the DPL
Best middle school sports league in America.
in America.
The Dallas Parochial
I
League.
mean, between St. Monica and St. Rita,
We've
I mean,
put
talk
out
about powerhouses.
more Division I athletes out of the Dallas Parochial League
this
than,
is like backed by anything.
I mean,
This is real.
my anecdotal experience.
Yeah.
Yes. Jordan Spieth, Dallas Parochial League,
St. Monica Bearcats.
St. Monica graduate.
A well-known basketball player, Jordan Spieth.
All right, anyway, so take us to the scene. 7th grade, St.
7th
Monica.
grade, I was the sharpshooter on the team. I wouldn't even say sharpshooter. If you see me play basketball, I'm the definition of streaky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So one day I can't miss a shot. The next day, it looks like I've never touched a basketball before. And that's only amplified over time, but that's a different story.
Jose
But
looks like he's never touched a basketball every time he plays.
That is not true.
7th grade, I was the sharpshooter.
Yep.
And John Michael and I were playing against each other. We didn't know each other at that point, but that was kind of when the rivalry began. But I was the sharpshooter on my team. John Michael was the pesky defender.
They called me the glove.
And so, I got hot. It was one of those days. I made a couple 3-pointers. I mean, these games, I feel like the max amount of points we scored was like 45 points.
32, yeah.
Normally it was in the 30s range.
Right.
If I scored 12 points, it was like I just went
over the
off.
game, yeah.
I took over the game. And so they put John Michael on me, and John Michael likes to take his hand and just kind of jab it into your side
The
like
glove.
that, which is the worst when you're going up for a jump shot. You don't, the hand in the face, not a problem. I'm like Kobe out there, but you put the hand in the side,
Yeah.
and it's just enough to kind of catch you off guard a little bit. So he had done that enough times on the court, and I can't even remember. We kind of got into a little
Yeah, we were
tiff
pushing
on the
and shoving
court.
a little bit on an inbounds play.
I think Well, what happened was I got a technical.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was the inbounds play or not, but we were kind of getting into it with each other. Maybe did we both get techs?
We both got techs, shot free throws, and then there was an inbound from
And then there's
the
an
post
inbounds.
technicals.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. I still remember my buddy Mitch was inbounding the ball, and John Michael's got his arms all over me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to create space a little bit.
Separation.
I'm trying to create a little separation, And shove is not the right word. I think I might have just
Lightly touched.
I lightly touched John Michael, and then he flopped on the ground. I got my second technical for aggressive behavior on the court and ejected from the game.
You got ejected in a middle school league.
Middle school basketball. It got intense out there. But
Yeah, you were a poor loser.
I
won?
was frustrated.
Who won the game?
Santa Monica.
probably
Santa Monica
Bearcats,
pulled it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that who's that? Is that y'all?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that's
us.
Clayton's team.
That was us.
Yeah.
We were pretty good.
So I mean, we've hit Mount Rushmore of winners. We've hit the Valley of losers. Clayton's on that for sure.
Thank you.
But I think for us, we're opening talking about what's the value of winning well, what's the
Yep.
value of losing well.
Yep.
And I think the value there is, competition is at the heart of masculinity. Whether it's, how many kids you can have, I'm just kidding. Or just like, I mean, guys talk about how much money they make, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's an element of competition. What car do you drive? How big of a house do you have? Can you cover the meal for everyone as a sign of power, right?
Yeah. What country club are you a member
Well,
of?
yeah, zero. To answer your question.
For the whole table.
Yeah. But I think that why do we do that?
Yeah.
Right. Why are men naturally competitive? And I think there's a goodness there, which is that competition brings out the best in us
Yeah.
and the worst. And I think on the positive side, it brings out kind of this understanding of the value of excellence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That when let's say we have this cup, right? And God wants us to he wants us to fill that cup. And so what's my capacity that God has given me? And God wants me to take that capacity and just be able to fill it up as much as I can with his grace.
Yep.
Yep.
And with my efforts too. And so competition is okay, if I have a 12-ounce cup, I want to compete so well that I'm filling up that cup.
Yep.
And so when I'm winning and I'm showing myself that I've kind of hit my threshold of what I can do, whether that's in sports, whether that's in life, whether that's in job, applies to all. And then on the back end, right, when we lose, I think what we get frustrated about is that we didn't fill our cup, right? We were short of what we could do. We didn't hit that capacity that God wants for us. And I think that plays, I mean, we see it all the time in sports, right? Why does Wyndham Clark destroy the locker?
Yeah.
Well, it's because he knows I could have been better. I could have shot 3 over par actually, instead of 15 or 16. And it just makes me think, we're talking golf. I don't golf. You guys golf. I like watching golf. I like watching you guys golf.
I like to pretend that I golf.
Right.
Yeah.
But Scotty Scheffler,
Yes.
like you talk about a guy
Fierce.
that wants to fill his cup, and I think that's why he's a fierce competitor. I'm just wondering if we put Scotty on that Mount Rushmore, why do we put him on that? As a husband, as a father, I mean, the world's obsessed with Scotty right now.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is the world just how can you play that well and still be a great man?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts there?
I'm thinking about the Wyndham Clark example and just kind of letting out on the lockers. And I feel like some guys think that that's a cool thing to do.
Right.
I explode, I get angry, I get frustrated. That's almost like that's what you're supposed to do.
manly.
It's manly to get really frustrated and angry and to take your anger out on something.
Yep.
But I think Scotty has said this in multiple of his interviews, post round interviews and whatnot. But golf is not his everything.
Right.
And he just did an interview recently where they were asking about the Live Tour versus the PGA Tour and the money on Live.
Or Team PGA in this
Team
round.
PGA.
Okay.
Team PGA.
Just want to make sure.
The money on Live versus the money on the PGA, and he's like, I'm not in this for the money.
Right.
The money's nice. I'm in this to compete. But then he also says things where golf is not his everything.
Yep.
He talks about Jesus in his post round interviews. He talks about God, and there's an element of freedom there where it allows him to be his best and to try his best and to give his all, and it gives him the freedom to win, and it also gives him the freedom to lose at the same time.
Yeah, I'm thinking too of I have 2 groups of friends. Not like these are friend groups, but I have the friends that love Scotty, and I have the friends that really dislike Scotty.
And you're still friends with them?
Well, family.
Family
By marriage.
Yeah.
The in-laws.
The in-laws, where they think Scotty's really boring.
Are you kidding me?
They think he's boring, he's vanilla.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to what you were saying, because
Is it because he doesn't have net jets all over his polo?
he doesn't do what they think is relatable,
Right.
which is like explode.
Right.
They're like, well, he doesn't care enough about it, or they're like misconstruing what competition should be because that's how they've grown up as well, right? Where like, oh, well, he's so boring. Like no one's ever actually that steady the whole time, right? Or whatever it is. Like no one goes through life without like having a scandal.
Right.
They think he's boring.
Well,
and then,
he was arrested.
well, yeah.
Hashtag
That's a
free Scotty.
scandal. Yeah. We need to get that picture up in here of Scotty
Yeah, we need that
in his
right there.
jumpsuit. Yeah. But then the other camp, which goes back to your question of like, why is he so popular? And I think it's because a lot of guys want to be like that.
Right.
Like,
Deep down.
we have the current best player in the world at golf.
Yeah.
That after he went, he like won the PGA championship, right? And he's just out there playing with his kid. There's pictures of him in the locker room later, laying on the floor,
Signing
playing
his
with someone
card.
else's kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? The week after, he won another tournament, and he's laughing about the fact that his kid had a blowout and had a poop stain all over his back.
Yeah. His
You know-
wife was like, "Congrats on winning. Here's your son.
Yeah.
By the way, he had a blowout.
Yeah.
Here he is." You know.
And it's just like,
All over the green jacket.
Yeah.
I think that's like myself and a lot of guys I would say that I'm friends with want to be like that, want to imitate that.
Yeah.
Whatever the word for that may be, it's just like, how can we be more like that? That sounds awesome. A guy that's steady, that's a fierce competitor, but when he loses, he doesn't lose himself along the way.
How do we, for us, but also, I mean, guys who may be tuning in who are like, hey, you know, I'm the guy who loses poorly. I'm the guy who, when I lose Catan, I take all of the guy's settlements and I stuff them down his throat because I'm so frustrated that I lost. But like I'm like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're all like that.
I play on a beer league softball team
Yeah.
here in Denver, and it's great. It's a bunch of dads.
Yeah.
And last year we made it to the championship, and we got a bunch of guys, different age groups. We got guys up in their 40s, but we were playing a bunch of former college baseball players that played at CCU here in Denver.
Yeah.
And game was hyper competitive. Like, it's beer league softball, but it might as well have been the World Series because our wives were in the stands, and most importantly, our kids were in the
Kids are
stands.
there.
And you better believe my daughter Eden is not going to see me lose a championship softball game.
Yeah.
Long story short, there was a bunch of jawing and smack talk, which I do want to hit smack talk at some point. And we had a guy run through first base. Guy threw a little bit hard of a tag on him. Benches clearing, not brawl. Like there wasn't fists being thrown, but there was
A
shoving.
lot of shoving, yeah.
There was words spoken that my 4-year-old is not aware of.
Yeah.
And I was so embarrassed because we invited a priest friend to come watch us. and he's over there. I look at him and we're, shoving and pushing and all this. And he's just like over there with his hands over his eyes.
Just hoping one of y'all doesn't get into the stands and start.
Right. Malice at the beer league softball. But I'm just like, for myself, how do I have that freedom, right? That Scotty has, that freedom of like, no matter what happens here, my identity is secure.
Yeah.
I don't need to win the beer league championship to feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Which I still don't. I feel very bad about myself from losing. But I'm just like, how do we get there?
There's a podcast that Jose and I like listening to, a golf podcast.
Not this one.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I haven't listened to myself yet. So.
No, that's true.
But no, it's a golf podcast that we like listening to. We were just talking about it recently. These guys,
What's it called?
It's called Chasing Scratch.
Well, that's a great name.
Chasing Scratch.
That's
It's
a
these
great
two guys.
show.
They're on their 7th season, 8th season.
Yeah.
And it's just these two guys. They're trying to figure out how do they become scratch golfers. But a lot of the show is just about their friendship. They talk about their family lives. They talk about their struggles. They talk about work. They get really real on the podcast. But one of the guys is actually, he just started as a football coach, and at the local high school or whatever. When he was interviewing for the job, they were like, "What's your coaching philosophy?" And he thought about it for a second. He was like, "I think my coaching philosophy is growth over outcomes."
Ooh.
And
That's great.
he said
Put that on the all-in quote board.
In the moment he was, he kind of felt embarrassed about that for a second because he's like, I'm not trying to say that I don't want to win.
Right.
It's kind of like, your kids, winning and losing, it's not everything, but everybody wants to win.
Yep.
And he's interviewing for a high school football coaching job. And that's not what you want to tell the athletic director is like, hey, we're all just we're about getting better every day. Participation.
Yeah. Oh,
As long as everybody has fun, has good times, and we grow and we learn together, it's going to be awesome. They're like, no. especially, Dallas high school football, Texas high school, you want to win.
Yeah.
But so what he was trying to say was like, the outcomes do matter, but there's a lot of things that are outside of your control at the same time.
Yep.
You might play the best game of your life, and your competitor might play the best game of his life. He might just beat you at the end. We went to A&M. The Aggies never lose. We just run out of time. And
8-5, baby.
Yeah, 8-5 for the last 15 years running.
Yeah.
But I really like that, the commitment to the growth over the actual outcome.
Right.
And it's not to say that you don't want to win. It's okay to be upset that you lost.
Yeah.
Right.
It's okay to be upset that maybe you didn't play the way that you wanted to. I'm not saying like you shouldn't care about those things.
Right.
But you need to be asking yourself the question, like, what's the most important thing that I'm getting out of this?
Right.
Yeah.
Am I becoming a better man, but also a better player.
Right.
Am I, especially in golf too,
Yeah.
it's like there's so many things outside of your control.
It reminds me of, I've been playing for 2 years. I'm not anywhere close to remotely being confused for good.
32 handicap
32
index.
handicap with breakfast ball in each 9.
Lunch, dinner,
No.
dessert.
No. I'm actually down to just one breakfast ball per 18.
Hey,
But-
come on.
When I first started 2 years ago, it's like, okay, this is a really difficult sport that I'm picking up. And one of the first couple times I went to the driving range, back then I thought I flushed the ball, right? Like just hit it so well that I was like, that's it. That is what I should be hitting it like every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then after that, every time I didn't hit it like that, I would get angry because I want to be better, right? I want to beat my buddies. I want to be good. I want to win. So much so that I remember now it wasn't just anger. I think these were old clubs that I bought from Facebook Marketplace for $40. So I think they also had some defects there, but I was really angry and I kind of smacked I think it was a 3 hybrid into the ground a little hard because I was just frustrated, and then just broke it, like snapped the club head off.
Oh gosh.
And I was so embarrassed.
Okay,
I
it was
at the
only
driving range.
$3.
Yeah, but it's like I was so embarrassed because it like bounced like into where people are hitting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I should probably go get that, and I have to get people to stop, and they can all tell that I just broke a club, probably out of frustration. And I finally pick it up, and one of my friends is like, "What are you doing? Like you just started playing."
Right.
Yeah.
Not only, even if this were true, this wouldn't matter, but you're not on PGA Tour.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're picking up a hobby to play with your friends. Why are you getting so angry?
Mm-hmm.
And that's helped me so much over the last 2 years, where I can just kind of like center myself and be like, okay, what am I here for? Right?
Yeah.
I'm here to have fun with my friends.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I'm not here to. Now I can compete still, but I'm not here to lose my cool and say something I regret or do something embarrassing like breaking a club. I had a buddy that he hit a horrible shot one time, probably worse than I am.
Yeah.
Got so angry he just tossed his club
Yep.
into the pond. I made him go get it. But it's just like, that's just so embarrassing. Now I still use that as smack talk.
Yeah.
Right. Which we could be like that's it. Maybe a little too far. I love smack talk. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get into that a little bit here of like, is smack talk good?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I think when we talk about smack talk, I think we got to define the terms here, right?
Yep.
Is it degrading the other person? Like, hey, if you wanted to score on me, you couldn't, which is what I was telling Clayton in 7th grade.
Yeah.
But then he did. But I think, is it okay? I think it's okay in so much as it's a part of the fun of competing
Yeah.
and pushing each other to get better. Like we were talking earlier before the podcast about Tim Duncan, Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers is another guy who comes to mind. Like
Yeah.
when if you watch the sound bites of Andrew Luck, he gets hit. He's a great hit. I loved it. I'll take 2 more, please.
I have
like,
another?
What was the Tim Duncan thing?
Tim
you were saying?
Duncan is so it's kind of like to contrast it with someone that maybe takes it too far,
Right.
which that's where I feel like I find myself a lot of times is taking smack talk too far with Kevin Garnett, who is known of just like saying the most awful things to people
Yo
about
mama,
their
yo
family
mama.
family members about whatever it was that was extremely disrespectful
Yep.
and attacking the person.
Yeah.
And he has this long interview. He talks about how he could never get into Tim Duncan's head. But Tim Duncan would just he would eat him alive. Tim Duncan had so much real estate in Kevin Garnett's head and in other players' heads.
Yep.
And they're like, well, why is that? Like, he doesn't seem like a guy that would, talk about your family members or attack you as a person. He's like, no. But he was so good that anytime that I didn't do something that was good or fundamentally sound, Tim Duncan, the big fundamental himself, would start giving you tips. He would start coaching you as the opposing player.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was so frustrating.
Right.
That this guy is so good and so okay with who he is.
Right.
That he doesn't buy into your smack talk. And on top of that, he's helping you as he's beating you.
That's how good he is.
And I mean, I don't know if you want to classify that as smack talk, but I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so...
Well, there's an element in sports, the mental game.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, golf, definitely
Yeah.
the mental game, and I think it says something. Smack talk, you don't want to be degrading to the people that you're playing with.
Yep.
It's all in jest, it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
But there's an element in there of just like you're playing a physical sport, but at the same time, getting into your opponent's head is a valuable thing if you're competing and trying to win.
Yeah.
Couldn't
But at
agree
the
more.
same time, it says something if someone is getting into your own head. It's like maybe like a sign of like mental weakness, lack of fortitude there.
Maybe just lack of being sure of yourself.
Right.
Of
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah.
Like, why does it
Believing.
affect you so much that this guy's better than you?
I think there's not to get deep here, but I'm gonna get
Please.
I'm jumping
Please.
into the deep end. I was just thinking about with you guys were talking about golf and why is golf so addicting? I think it's because of the chase of perfection.
Yep.
Like golf, you get mad when you don't hit the good shot because you want to hit every shot perfect, and you
Yep.
know you're probably never going to. But I just think about our Lord and Him telling the apostles, right? We need to be perfect.
Yeah.
Be perfect as your heavenly Father's perfect. And so there is something with competition that I think relates to the chase of holiness. Is like the outcome of sports is to be perfect, to never miss a shot, to never hit, never shank it,
Yeah.
which will never happen to me. Never slice it, never miss a putt. The professional baseball player hits 3 out of 10 times and it's great. But in the spiritual life, there's this chase of perfection of like, I always want to respond with charity. I always want to respond with, magnanimity, or I want to be meek, right? And many people, myself included, you hear meek and you think it's like a sissy term. Like meek is something that it's not a compliment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jose, you are just a real meek fella.
I don't know why, but it makes me think that it means soft-spoken.
Yeah, totally.
Quiet. Yeah.
Quiet.
I'm meek. Like what?
Jose Meek Caballero here.
Yeah.
But I think it's a misunderstood term by men because my understanding of, and maybe you guys could help me out, is it's not lack of strength, or weakness. It's knowing how strong you are and being able to apply it in the right situations. So, Scotty Scheffler, right? Meekness is not, I'm so strong that I'm going to beat the locker. I'm so strong that I'm going to control myself in the right situations so that I can apply my chase of perfection to these certain circumstances.
Yeah, give it the right outlet.
The right outlet.
Yep.
And I think that's why it's so addicting.
Yeah.
That's why competition's addicting, is because it's the constant chase of the perfection of something, the
Yeah.
perfection of ourselves, the need to be meek, have meekness, contain meekness,
Be meek.
to be meek.
Have meek.
To meek.
To meek or not to meek.
I'm gonna meek all over this basketball chair.
I was meeking all week.
But I think that, if we're talking about what's the value of winning well, losing well, well, it's controlling oneself in meekness
Yeah.
to be able to apply it and control my strength in the right situations.
I love what you said there about the controlling, right, and knowing the outlet.
Yep.
You think of Kobe Bryant, who, like earlier I was talking about Kevin Garnett and like what to do. What does it say about yourself when it affects you? It's like it's not so much about it affecting you; it's what do you do about it.
Right.
Kobe Bryant, when it affected him, he showed up to the gym the next day
Yep.
earlier and
Right.
worked harder.
Right.
Versus you got Boogie Cousins in I think Puerto Rico.
He's playing in. Yeah, where's he playing now?
He's in some random
I mean,
league.
he's been in Thailand. He's been in China.
Yeah, he's in some league. I don't know, but a video surfaced of him over the last couple of months where he was losing a game against other people that play in this league that probably aren't as skilled at basketball as he is.
Not 6'11".
And he starts fighting a fan.
Oh.
And he shoves a fan. Yeah. I mean, he's always known for having anger issues. But again, like, what is the outlet?
Mm-hmm.
He definitely wasn't meeking in the moment, right? What is the outlet for your strengths, right? Your talents of basketball? It's definitely not getting in fist fights with fans.
So do we think that every man should compete?
Absolutely.
Well, I think you have to lose in order to learn what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You know, like to actually to be meek is to be, you know, humble even, you know, when you win. But I also think to be meek is the same thing, to show humility even when you lose.
Yeah.
And there has to be an element of competition in your
bring
life
that out.
in order to bring that out, and in a healthy way too. You were kind of talking at the beginning of just like the competition of men, of like what do you have versus, you know, what you don't have. And you know, to me, I'm like, that just doesn't. That's not really that's just more comparison than competition and like sizing. That's not true. That's not true competition.
Yeah.
You know, but I do feel like you have to have some element, whether that's beer league softball, you know, pick up basketball in the morning, you know, going out to play, you know, golf with some guys. I'm trying to get back into tournaments, golf tournaments down in Texas. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just
what do those look like?
well,
Is it just like a country club Saturday, pay the fee?
Yeah, like leagues like that, or are you talking?
Well, yeah. So you could join. You could, like my father-in-law, like he's in a league where, you know, they have a certain amount of tournaments over, you know, X amount of weeks, and you get
so fun.
You get, you know, each time you play, you get a certain amount of points.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple years ago, he won, and he got a free trip to Costa Rica with him and his golf buddies.
To go watch Boogie Cousins.
Yeah, to go.
Oh no, I think it's Puerto Rico.
But I mean, I grew up playing, you know, tournament golf. I love golf, and you know, when you go out and play with the guys, like you were saying, Jose, you take a breakfast ball, you know, you miss the fairway and you kind of improve your lie a little bit. But there's something about like locking in mentally over the course of 18 holes that's just, it's a different experience that I kind of miss.
Yeah,
you know?
people say it's a different game altogether.
Oh, it's a totally different game. Yeah. I feel like, you know, men, they need to find a place where they can apply themselves, where they can challenge themselves.
For sure.
And you know, back to the tournament, you know, golf example. I love going out and just playing with my father-in-law, my brothers-in-law, you know, playing with you, Jose, and friends. But there's something different about just going out and playing in tournament golf. And I feel like we all have to kind of find an avenue for us where you're not just going out and just like, you know, I don't really care. Yeah. You know, it's going to be fun. Pick up basketball. It's not fun when you go out there and guys don't really try. Yeah. They're just jacking up threes and you're like, no, I want to have fun.
It's always the guys in the
I want to have fun.
hats.
We're having fun, but the backwards floater hats. Yeah. I want to have fun, but you know, I want to see you give your all, you know, and I just feel like whether that's, you know, pick up basketball, you know, golf, whatever, you know, it doesn't even necessarily have to be sports. It could be, you know, cup stacking. Right. If you're into that.
Remember that like took over the world?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You hit the timer.
Yeah. You see those on YouTube. If it pops up on YouTube, give it a little, you know, a little view there.
It's kind of
it's on my algorithm. It's just all cup stacking.
My algorithm is all golf swings right now.
But if you're listening, you know, I feel like the question I would ask myself is, where am I finding competition in my life? Because it's important for us as men to find an avenue where we can give our all. It's important for us as men to find an avenue where we can give our all and lose at the same time, and have that challenge, you know, our inner selves, you know, and your virtue or lack of virtue is exposed. So this is the All In Podcast. Thanks for listening. Hit that like button and subscribe.
Pinata that bell.